everybody. It is Holly Priestley at Honeycomb Coaching, and I am in my van, Eloise Van Gogh. She is a 97 Ford E350 club wagon with a fiberglass high top, and I have been full-time on the road for about 2 weeks now with my dog Mona Lisa, and I just wanted to do just a quick and dirty video with a lot of over lighting behind me. Sorry about that. About my experience and what I've learned and all of that. So if you saw my most recent video, I just did the first couple of days in the van, and I learned a lot on day 1 and on day 2 and on day 3, and so of course 2 weeks in I have a lot of things that I've learned and just adjusted for myself. One of the biggest things that I have adjusted is basically finding homes for everything, which is really important. And if you've watched my other videos, you know that storage was kind of important. I have a video specifically about my storage solutions and how I was planning on using them, and I will link that somewhere up in here. And the van, in my first couple of days, I'm sure you saw in that video if you watched it, the floor was messy, the bed was messy, not everything had a place to be because I was kind of in a rush, and also you just don't really know where things are going to go until you get in the space and you're living life and using all of your belongings and clothes and just shit like that. So, pretty much daily, something else finds a new place to go. Storage, storing things in an efficient way is important. Keeping like items together is important. And of course, getting rid of things. I'm still getting rid of things. I still have way too many things, but we're getting somewhere. So, I mentioned in the previous video that I have Invisalign. And so when you go get your braces, they give you all of your braces all at once. So I had all these boxes of, teeth that I didn't really have a place for. They didn't fit really anywhere, and in my head I was kind of like, well, these are temporary, I'm not going to have these forever. And A, it doesn't matter if you're going to have it forever or not. In a van, everything needs to have a space, and B, I'm going to have them for the next 8 to 10 months, so that is a long enough time that these need to find a place to be. So just yesterday I cleaned out some space in my attic area above my cab to put those in, and it's fine. But just little things like that make a huge difference. So I highly recommend you just kind of spend time in your van and figure out where things are going to go. When I built this shelf up here, I thought for sure I was going to have, some kitchen stuff and then bathroom stuff, because having bathroom stuff right over the sink makes a lot of sense. But all of my bathroom stuff ended up in the seat back storage that I showed in that video that hadn't been filled out yet. That is pretty much all of my bathroom things and a few extras in there. My toothbrushing stuff specifically has its own little pouch that I carry around with me. That needs to be really flexible in case I go somewhere and need to take my toothbrush. And when you have Invisalign, you brush your teeth 6 times a day or something. It's ridiculous. So that's been definitely one of the things that I've learned, is just finding more better homes for things. So yeah. The next thing that I learned probably has to do with working, and I'm still figuring this one out, and I think it's just always going to be a flexible, fluid thing in my life. If, in the van, is whether I'm going to be in a city and finding a coffee shop that has Wi-Fi or a truck stop that has Wi-Fi, or if I'm going to be using my phone as a hotspot. I have been using my phone as a hotspot for a while, but I'm at Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, and this little town has a single cell phone tower, and when 10,000 vehicle dwellers descend on one cell phone tower, it's kind of hard. So I haven't been able to work as much as more people start arriving, and that was a concern of mine, so I'm going to either have to get a signal repeater or something like that to make my cell signal stronger, or get myself a little WeBoost or hotspot or something. That needs to be figured out for sure. And then, let's see. Well, I took a shower in a truck stop the other day, and that was the very first time I've done that. I didn't even know that truck stops had showers. So that was awesome. I mean, if you haven't showered for, 5 days, it feels amazing to have clean hair again. Hygiene-wise, I have a ton of baby wipes. I'm using those to clean up. I've also started using an apple cider vinegar and water combination for like deodorant, which works really well, better than the deodorant crystal that I have been using. So I'm pretty excited about that. What else have I learned? Something huge that I learned that I'm not like super surprised by, but I am super, super happy by, is that like the people that you meet on the road are awesome. You meet all kinds of people, and like just in the past 2 weeks, especially coming to an area that is hosting a bunch of vehicle dwellers and people who are in transition and on the move and going places, is that you meet all kinds of different people, and all kinds of different people live in all kinds of different rigs, and they all have different stories, and it is just really, really fun. And, if somebody doesn't jive with you, you just move on, because there's going to be somebody else like down the way that does jive with you. I've been lucky enough to connect with a group of women, and we have been kind of caravanning around and camping around together for a while. A while being like a week or something, but it feels awesome, and I feel like I've made some really good friends and met some really cool people. And again, like everybody comes to you with different experiences, and they might have like, a tip, like the apple cider vinegar water deodorant thing I learned from one of the girls that I met, and I didn't know that, but I love apple cider vinegar and I use it for everything, so that's cool. And I've been able to, give some things away, or like give whatever advice I can. So I think just like being open to meeting other people and being open to being yourself and like offering what you have, whether it's experience or not, or a smile or a joke, or, help with something, whatever. So that's been a lot of fun. That's been one of the best parts about this whole thing, is all the people that I've met. I do want to talk a little bit about having a dog in the van. Sorry, that probably came out really fast. Sometimes I talk really fast. But I do want to talk a little bit about having a dog in a van, because I think it's important, and there aren't like a lot of topics on it. I might do like a video or 2 or 6 of like specifically about having a dog in a van. So if you have any specific questions that you'd like me to answer, go ahead and ask those. But Mona Lisa is a 10-year-old Shepherd mix. We have been together for 10 years. She's about 45 pounds. She's the perfect size for living in a van. She's not a Great Dane. You do see a lot of dogs in vehicle dwellers' lifestyles, especially small dogs, because they travel so well and they're so easy and they don't take up a lot of space. So traveling with Lisa has been excellent. We always went on road trips before this, and hiking and backpacking and camping and everything else, and she loves traveling and seeing new things and meeting new people. So that part has been great. Some of the cons have just been, with all those dogs around, sometimes dogs don't get along, and that happens. One thing that I've personally learned is that when I'm at home in Colorado, if somebody asks if they can like approach my dog, or if their dog can approach my dog, A, you should always ask, thank you so much for asking, but B, I would always say like, oh, she's kind of shy. And in Colorado, that must translate to, maybe not, don't approach me. But that doesn't always translate to maybe not, don't approach me out in the world. And I've had a lot of people like not take that as a warning, really. They'd take it more as like, okay, she's shy, whatever. Like, we'll just let my dog meet her dog. And then sometimes she'll like lash out, especially if she's on a leash. She feels kind of vulnerable. So I've started saying that, she's 50-50. Because that's the truth. Like, that is, some dogs she likes right away, leash or not. Some dogs she doesn't like right away, leash or not. That's just the way it goes. So I mentioned earlier that I've been hanging out with a group of girls, and we do have some other dogs in the group, and the dogs get along great now. We took them for walks together on leash, and they met off leash, and that's kind of how Lisa makes friends. So the first thing, I guess, about having a dog in a van is just being open and honest with people about how friendly they are or are not. And if you're one of those people whose dog is super friendly, loves everybody, everyone is their best friend, and like they would never bark or bite or anything, that's so cool and so good for you, and that's awesome. You cannot assume that all dogs are like that though. So, you know, if you're out in the woods and or, you know, wherever, and your dog is really friendly and off leash and, you know, wants to run up to another dog, maybe don't let them do that, just because not all dogs are nice. And having her with me for the past few days, past 2 weeks in the van, the first 3 days were just nonstop driving pretty much. And I think 3 days is probably both of our limits for that. Because, you know, like we walk in the morning and we walk a couple of times during the day. We make sure that we stop and take potty breaks and walk breaks and everything. But I think spending that much time in a moving vehicle might have stressed her out a little bit and just exhausted her. And I don't want that. I don't want to do that. I want this experience to be as good for her as it is for me. So being aware of your dog and their mannerisms and all of that, I think, is really important, more so, even more so on the road than it is in an apartment. But it's very similar there too, so just be aware of your dog and try to give them the best life that they can possibly have. So yeah, basically this is just a big long talking video of some of the things that I've learned, and if you have any specific questions, leave them in the comments below or send me a message or whatever. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any of my other videos, and follow us on Honeycomb Coaching on all of the social medias, and have a good day.